You know, nothing is more important. Wrestling is not more important. That high is not more important. That adrenaline rush is no important. Nothing.
Other problems with alcohol use, especially when it comes to an addictive behavior, is say for instance your brain, like your homeostasis, which is brain function. Your brain is very smart. It's called homeostasis. Your brain programs like a certain type of blood pressure, certain type of heart rate, and those things like that. It kind of programs it. And so say for instance it's like 7 o'clock at night, you come home for a drink, and your brain and the drink actually decreases function. Your brain kind of gives the homeostasis, it kind of gives your body kind of like a program to get back into normal. And then it you kind of go back to the next day. And if you don't drink, and this is when someone becomes, you know, addicted to it. When you don't drink, it basically gets your body and your brain, it kind of gives an extra dose of brain functioning to get back to homeostasis because it's used to function in a certain way. And so people start to get addictive. It becomes addictive in alcohol. So the problem is it creates a withdrawal when you don't, because it's your body's being used to programming in that homeostatic or the homeostasis type of functioning, that type of basis, so to speak. And so your body goes into like two different ways. It's like a negative kind of reinforcement, and you keep drinking to prevent the withdrawal. And it also goes into a kind of like a false positive, state, which is euphoric. It's like a temporary euphoria that you get when you drink alcohol too. So it's really easy for people to get addicted to drinking alcohol, especially as a means to, there's a lot on my mind. I want to use alcohol to bring it down. I'm in a lot of pain. I want to kind of alleviate myself from that type of functioning in my brain. I want to kind of reduce those functions. And all of that, it's a reward, it's a stimulus, it's all those things. And so it's really easy, unless you have therapeutic, I would even say divine intervention, therapeutic route, like intense therapy for a long time, like years. Even when you think that you're okay, you need those type of measures to say, I'm still going to go the therapeutic route to not be more inclined to drink. Because if you go through some short rehab and then go back on your own, not saying that this is the reason why he drank, but it wouldn't surprise me from a psychological standpoint. He's been in a lot of pain. He couldn't wrestle certain dates. He couldn't do certain things like that. He's been taken away from matches because of the match that he had with Darby Allin when he did the Swanton. Stuff like that creates a stimuli to say, I need to kind of shut all this down mentally. And so that's why people go to alcohol a lot of times. So that's kind of like the psychological backing of why he could have been more inclined to drink alcohol. And if you're not getting like an intense type of therapy to keep yourself accountable, stuff like CBT, peer support group therapy, just group therapy sessions, which is very good. Those are 3 good therapeutic measures to address that. If you're not having that active as a recovering addict, you're going to be very susceptible, especially in an environment, in a pro wrestling environment, especially in a pro wrestling environment, you're going to be very susceptible going back to that. Yeah, man, it's sad to see, it's sad to hear. And here's my last question to you, Vince, before we close up. Do you think that Jeff Hardy at this point should retire from the business?
Me personally, yes. Yeah, bro, Chris, you and I, Chris, listen, man, I think this is what it always goes back to with you and I. I saw the picture of you and your little daughter that you tweeted out.
Thank you.
It all goes back to family, bro.
Absolutely.
Bro, you have a family that depends on you. There's nothing else more important in the world, Chris. You know, as a man, as a father, as a husband, you know, nothing is more important. Wrestling is not more important. That high is not more important. That adrenaline rush is no important. Nothing should supersede your family. Nothing.
100%.
If you are a man, nothing should supersede your family. So, yes, you have a family, you have a wife, you have children. Nothing is more important than that, bro. Nothing. The roar of the crowd jumping off a 25-foot balcony, the money, the excitement, the adrenaline. Sorry, bro. Nothing is more important than a man's family. So in my opinion, yes, bro, we know he has enough money. Yep. He's very well off. He's been doing this forever, bro. I was at WWE when we signed him to their first contract. What was that, 96? So he's been making great money since 1996. Money is not an issue, bro. If money's an issue and you've got to do it, that's a different story. It's not an issue here, bro. It really is time to man up. And you know what, man? If you're not going to do it for you, then do it for your family. And do it for the people that love you, and do it for the people that depend on you.
Amen. 100% agree with that. One, without a doubt, do it for your family. I just don't see. I know that, you know, wrestling is an adrenaline rush. It's kind of like an addiction. It's a high. It creates that just skyrocketing levels of dopamine. You know, I understand that. I get it. You know, I've never been a professional wrestler. I used to amateur wrestle, and I've been, you know, working on the back end as a journalist, and I've been to a bunch of events, you know, doing media work. So I get it. I get the adrenaline rush. I get the high. I know a whole lot of wrestlers in WWE, Impact, AEW that I talk to, Hall of Famers that I talk to on a regular basis, and just as a psychology doctor, just pick their brain about a lot of things. I get it, but at the same time, though, I'm thinking of Jeff Hardy, who's like, you know, 44 years old, and I'm like, dude, you're young. You're a young cat. You've got a lot of time to go. You know, hopefully, you're 44, man. Like, use the next 20 years to do some agent work. If you still want to stay in wrestling, do some agent work, do some behind the scenes work. I'm sure Tony Khan would support you and hire you something behind the scenes. Dude, be like Rick Steiner, be the real estate agent. Like, just completely leave, leave the business and be like daggone what's my boy's name? Mike Bucci, you know, Simon Dean, you know, he's like some big, you know, executive in the bank now. You know what I mean? So it's like I appreciate stuff like that life after wrestling. I would say just move away from it, man. And just realize that you can forget the crowd. Dude, perfect example. I came home today from work from a whole day's full of therapy, and I went to the gym to just dump all that out. Oh, Vince, every single day I come home, my kids, especially my daughter, all three of my kids, they rush to me. As soon as I come in the door, Daddy, and they celebrate like I'm a daggone superhero, dude. They hug me, and, you know, my boys might be upstairs watching TV and don't recognize that I'm here sometimes, but most of the times they do. Without missing a beat, my daughter every single day, including today, runs up to me, Daddy, and she gives me just the biggest 4-year-old hug to my 6'1" legs that I could ever experience. And there is no bigger high.
Better than that. What's better than that, bro?
There's no bigger high than that. There isn't, man. Yep. I don't care if I'm at WrestleMania in front of 80,000 people chanting my name. That pales in comparison to little Imari running up to me and squeezing my leg, man.
I agree, man. Nothing, bro. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just hope that he considers that.
Yeah.
As he continues his just soul searching, man, and just really having this opportunity to just really sit down and reflect. Stuff like this happens for a reason at times, man. It just really gives you an opportunity to sit down and reflect. And I'm hoping that this will be the time where he's like, you know what, man, this not worth it. I mean, it's not worth it, man. So
yeah.
What is worth it is this guy and his website called Channel Attitude.
ChannelAttitude.com, bro. That's where it's all happening. Check it out, man. ChannelAttitude.com.
Yes, indeed. Vince Russo, Dr. Chris, writing with Russo. Solo!